Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest narration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 3, Chapter 10, Supplemental. Media Perspectives on the Assassination of Emperor Augustus Renatus. The Valkyrie was a complete shit show. The Lost Boys joined us in boarding torpedoes, and we were happy to have them along. We knew they trained for shipboard fighting. There were shotguns and bayonets in there, and I personally killed 3 guys I knew. I also blew Jeanette's head off. I left the engagement ring. They were to stop our brothers screaming. We were there to help. They stopped it, all right. Didn't even flinch. Then we got our hands on the legionaries and the legit. I watched with pleasure as the void took them one by one. Then it was Nova Roma. Augustus Renatus had personally ordered that crap. The Lost Boys had wanted his head. I wanted his head. The rest of the shipboard infantry wanted his head. The boat boys wanted his head. You feckers wanted his fecking head. The report turned his head into jelly, and everyone who says anything other than good is fecking lying to you. I was there, shut up and listen. Enrique Vasquez. I saw the video shared by the Legion of what they did to the Valkyrie. I knew that the Lost Boys would act unilaterally. I suspect they would have even if their brothers weren't aboard. It was terrifying, both what the Emperor Augustus Renatus had ordered and what I knew was coming for him. The wrath of those boys burned like a sun. The assassination was barely legal. The fact that Augustus Renatus was in direct control of his military is the only thing that saved Corporal Gregory George and Lieutenant Peter Buford from the spacing chamber. The execution of prisoners directly responsible for the infestation of the Valkyrie was argued to be legal, successfully, by Pete's JAG lawyer on the grounds that the tribunal they held was according to regulation. In the end, the Lost Boys were split up, and the famed report passed into a legend far more cruel than he had borne before. He was credited for every death that could tangentially be considered to be in the Republic's interests. He was the Republic's bullet from the horizon, her knife in the back. He could get anyone, anywhere, and melt into the shadows to kill again. None of which is true. Records showed that he was deployed on anti-piracy missions and ordered mandatory leave between missions. To this day, he refuses to communicate to anyone outside the military. The rise and fall of the Lost Boys by Emilia de Sette. And thus did the Republic, in her wrath, turn her fearsome Lost Boys upon Nova Roma for their sins on the despot Augustus Renatus. Ever cursed be his name. Vulcan withdrew his protection from our works. Minerva was silent when her wisdom was sought. Juno gave no succor. Mars lent his wrath to the Lost Boys, and the report struck down the despot with Jupiter's own thunderbolt. Woe, woe to the tyrant. Cursed be his name for all time. May Nova Roma never run out of tears for his crimes. Wrath of the Gods walking by Plutarch. And so the true purpose of the Lost Boys finally came to fruition. With the assassination of the foreign sovereign, the Republic finally showed just how depraved they were and are. Even their little show trial cannot obscure the fact that their little propaganda platoon had outgrown their purpose. The young, fresh-faced were haggard and haunted, no longer useful to drive recruitment. So what did they do? Use the Zediots indoctrinated as children as assassins. The report was, of course, the most famous, but in all likelihood he was probably 5 or 6 assassins who were given the same credit to inflate the legend. The reign of terror of the Lost Boys continues to this day. They are the bullets from the horizon, the knives in the dark, the bombs in the night. There is no crime they won't commit to further the interests of the Republic. Walking War Crimes by Juan Carlos de Antigua III. Oh, and it's just a coincidence? It has to be. Nobody can get between those planets in 2 days. I'm telling you, the Republic is a wormhole technology. Then why haven't they used it in the war? So they can use the report to keep assassinating inconvenient leaders, obviously. They don't want their little attack dog getting his advantage taken away. Somebody should find where he sleeps and put a bullet in him. The camera was knocked over at that point because it was in the way of the cameraman throttling the pundit who just said that. The action caused a brawl to break out in the studio amongst the pundits and the live audience. Viral video from Coalition of Independent Planets official news company. End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Carrington, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.